Hey, welcome back to Herbs and Ease. My name is Kristen, and today we are breaking down the 5 tinctures that I think everyone should have in their medicine cabinet. And I don't really care if you don't like herbs or if you don't want to be an herbalist. I really think that everyone should have these tinctures in their medicine cabinet. First, we have to understand, what is a tincture? So tinctures are concentrated herbal extracts that are made by steeping herbs in alcohol, and they're really strong. They are easily absorbed into the body, and they are absorbed pretty quickly, and they allow you to get plant compounds into your body in a really convenient and travel-friendly way. So they're most often made with some sort of menstruum like alcohol. Alcohol will pull out the alcohol-soluble compounds of different plants, but they can be made with other solvents like vegetable glycerin specifically or vinegars. Now, those alcohol-free alternatives are going to lack the same medicinal benefits as an alcohol tincture because certain compounds are only going to be extracted with alcohol, but they still offer really good medicine. They do make good alternatives for those of you who are abstaining from alcohol for any reason. And some people don't drink alcohol, but are totally fine consuming alcohol tinctures. But if you are trying to stay away from consuming any alcohol whatsoever, and you don't like the idea of using tinctures, be sure to check out the episode on tea and the teas that you should be drinking every day, because tea would be a better place to start. And the good news that all the herbs that we are talking about in today's episode can be drunk as teas. So don't turn away just yet, because there's valuable information in today's episode as well. The uses of the plants that we're talking about today are going to range from managing allergies, managing anxiety and stress. They're going to help to manage weird digestive issues, to prevent illness, and to boost your immune system. So they're the basic over-the-counter remedies that most people want to have some sort of access to. And the reason that I like to have them as tinctures rather than teas is because they're often going to be needed either long-term or in a situation where it's just not going to be that comfortable to have to brew a cup of tea and then drink it. You want something quick, you want something strong, and you probably want a lot of something. For example, our first herbal tincture, Passionflower. So Passiflora incarnata, we use the flowering vine and the leaves, and it is a nervine, a sedative, a hypnotic, and an antispasmodic. And we often use it for things like treating anxiety and panic attacks, for insomnia, for managing seizures and epilepsy, for ADHD, for stress, and for burnout. And you're most often going to use this as an infusion and as a tincture. So Passionflower makes the top of this list because of its ability to halt anxiety in its tracks. I literally had an anxiety attack yesterday, and I took a dose of this, took 2 doses of this, and it was pretty much gone and I felt normal. So if you are experiencing any symptoms of anxiety from rumination, overthinking, physical stress, physical tension, mental spiraling, those anxiety tingles where it feels like you're about to have a panic attack, any nervousness, any stress, what you can do is take a dose of Passionflower about every 15 to 20 minutes until the symptoms subside. Now, I'm just going to make a note that I think a dose is about 2 to 3 droppers full. Not drops. This is not homeopathy, dropper fulls. But a dose is going to depend on you and your needs. It's kind of like asking how much broccoli would you eat in one sitting, right? It's not the same as the dosages of pharmaceuticals. So you get to play around with what you think a quote unquote dose is. For me, I would say it's 2 to 3 dropperfuls for most herbal tinctures. So I most often notice that with Passionflower, it only takes about 2 to 3 doses to calm an anxiety attack down. So it's really a staple in my household. It's a staple for when my friends come over and they're just feeling super frazzled and anxious. It is probably one of my most cherished herbs and my most cherished herbal medicine because, as I mentioned, I do have anxiety. It's a fairly new thing, but it's here and I got it. Thank you, pandemic. Passionflower can also be used for sleep. It is traditionally used for insomnia. So if you're having trouble sleeping, especially because the mind won't stop chattering because you wake up in the middle of the night and the mind is ruminating and you can't stop thinking. You can use Passionflower in the same way that you would use it to stop an anxiety attack. And the magic behind Passionflower is that it increases GABA. So GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, means it like chills things out, and it's associated with slower alpha and theta brain waves. So it helps to promote a state of calm in the mind and a state of calm in the body. So we really love Passionflower for those reasons. And it is worth noting that Passionflower can be used in smaller quantities to manage anxiety symptoms during the day without causing excessive drowsiness. So it is great to keep in your bag or at your work desk or wherever it is that you need it, all the places that you might need relief from anxiety symptoms. It is considered generally safe and gentle, but it can interact with certain pharmaceuticals, especially the ones that are sedative in nature. So our anxiety medications like a Xanax or an Ativan, the things that are sedative, not necessarily SSRIs. It's not going to interact with those, but the things like barbiturates, the things like antispasmodics, anything that is going to sedate the nervous system, and it will usually just increase these effects. So just be sure that if you're going to bring this herb or any other herb into your life, that you do a quick Google cursory search to make sure that there are no interactions with the medications that you're on or any of the issues that you have. Plants are not like fake medicine. It's not like, magic, just a sprinkling of ideas into your body. They are real phytocompounds that can make a difference in how your body processes things. So just be sure to do your good citizen scientist Google research, which is not technically research, but for lack of a better term, that's just the word that we'll use. Okay, next up is nettle, Urtica dioica. In nettle, we use the leaves. Sometimes we use the roots in medicine. Its main actions are as an antihistamine, a nutritive, a diuretic, an astringent, and an anti-inflammatory. And it's commonly used for allergy relief and as a nutritive herb to boost vitality in the system. So nettle tincture is a really nourishing and valuable daily tea. And if you want to learn more about how it supports the body and its energy building and nutritive qualities, be sure to check out the episode on teas that you should drink every day. Nettle tincture, on the other hand, is a great antihistamine. And my clients love this herb. They use it as a replacement for their over-the-counter allergy medications when allergy season comes up. And you want to have it as an alcohol tincture because the antihistamine properties are only extracted into alcohol. It is super effective for allergy symptom relief, especially from things like seasonal allergies and pollen, plant allergies, plant dander, and things like that. It can even help people tolerate pet dander by taking it regularly. Even people who are allergic to cats and dogs can be around these animals without feeling super miserable. I often give it to my friends and family members who have allergies when they come to visit and when they are spending time in my house, and they rarely have an issue with my very fluffy animals. You can also use it when transitioning a new pet into the home. So if someone in your life is like, we can't have a cat because I'm allergic, as long as they aren't deathly allergic, just get them a nettle tincture, and that's going to help them during that transition period as their body is adapting to having that animal in the house. So you can also use it for sinus headaches, congestion. I personally don't have terrible allergies, but since relocating from Florida to Virginia, I do get some seasonal allergies, and it takes me a few days to realize what is happening and to realize that the headache that I'm experiencing is not just a headache. It's a sinus headache because of allergies. And so I take a dose and it just goes away within an hour or so. But if your allergies are consistent and persistent, you can take it 2 to 3 times per day, or you can just use it as needed for mild symptom relief. Now, our next herb is an immune boosting herb called Echinacea, Echinacea angustifolia, and we use the root, the aerial parts, the leaves, and the flowers in herbal medicine. And we use it as an immune stimulator stimulant, an antimicrobial, it's an anti-inflammatory, and it's a blood purifier. It's often used to support the immune system, to prevent viral infections, and to treat sepsis and blood poisoning. So Echinacea is what I call a gateway herb. It's an herb that a lot of people know, but they don't really know how to use well. And there is some debate among herbalists regarding the best way to use Echinacea. Some use it as an immune booster to prevent infections, and some use it exclusively for its blood purifying properties for specific conditions like sepsis or bacterial infections in the blood, usually after a wound. But I never deal with sepsis, so I don't use it that way. And in my personal experience, Echinacea tincture has been super effective in preventing infections, especially during travel and when facing intense work phases where just getting sick is not an option. It contains immune stimulating compounds that will activate the immune system, specifically by increasing macrophage activity and T cells. Those are like the Miss Pac-Man that chomp on the cooties that enter the body. And those play a vital role in fighting off potential infections. So it is best to take before an infection actually sets in, before you are actually sick, to prevent illness. And if you feel the sniffles coming on, or if you're in close contact with someone who is sick, like the kids bring home the cooties from school, that is when you want to start taking Echinacea. When I travel, I have a little routine where I take Echinacea before I get on a plane. I take it while I'm on a plane. I take it after the plane, maybe for a day or so afterwards. And it just gives my immune system an extra boost because I almost always get sick if I don't do that. And that's really how Echinacea is going to work as a preventative to just prevent you from getting ill. So you cannot take it. I know you're asking, you can't just take it all the time to boost the immune system. Those boosting effects are really going to last only for like 3 to 5 days, and then it's not going to be boosting the immune system anymore. But if you are looking for a tonic herb, a tonic is an herb that you can take every day, and Echinacea is not a tonic. If you are looking for a tonic herb, though, to boost the immune system on a regular basis, look into the adaptogen called astragalus, or consider working with our next staple tincture, elderberry, and specifically elderberry with ginger. So the common name is elderberry. The Latin name is Sambucus nigra, and we're using the berries of this plant, although the flowers and the leaves do have medicine. And it is an antiviral, immune modulating, expectorant, and antioxidant herb, and it's usually used as flu relief. It's used to support the immune system. It's used for respiratory health, as antioxidant support, and you most often see it as an alcohol tincture, as a syrup, or as a tea. So elderberry is indispensable. It's another gateway herb that a lot of people know about. You gotta have it. It is truly remarkable. It has remarkable antiviral properties. It's an antiviral powerhouse. It shortens the durations of colds and flus, and it helps to modulate the immune system. And it is an expectorant, which means that it can help relieve coughs and congestions, and it has a lot of antioxidants. So when we are dealing with a chronic ailment, the standard dose of a tincture is 2 to 3 dropperfuls 2 to 3 times a day, and a tea is about 4 cups a day. But with an acute illness, like when you are actually sick, you really want to flood the body with these phytocompounds. So dosing up for an active infection would be having about a dose of tincture or 1.5 to 1 cup of tea about every 2 hours. So having a tincture as opposed to a tea nearby, or as opposed to a syrup when you are sick, first of all, you probably want to avoid all the sugar in a syrup. And if you have the flu, you're glued to your bed, you don't want to like keep getting up and making tea or going to the bathroom. You want to sleep. And so you want something quick. You want something easy. And that is why an elderberry tincture is particularly valuable in this situation. And I always like to pair my elderberry with ginger, Zingiber officinalis, because it's an herbal catalyst, which enhances the effects of other herbs. It speeds up their therapeutic actions, and ginger itself is an antiviral, so it offers its own immune boosting properties. It's anti-inflammatory, plus they taste good together. So I always just add them together. Ginger is just going to help elderberry work a little bit better. So we have something to manage stress. We have something to manage anxiety. We have something to boost the immune system. And we have something that is helping out our colds and flus. And now our next tincture is here to support digestion. Bitters. Everybody's favorite flavor. Okay. It's funny because it's not true. So rather than a specific herb, bitters are more of an herbal remedy. You may be familiar with putting bitters in your cocktails like an old fashioned, and we're kind of talking about the same thing, but a lot of cocktail bitters have sugar in them. So what we're talking about today does not have sugar in them. It's just bitters. And bitters are made from bitter herbs, and they are a key herbal remedy that have a pretty wide range of metabolic actions. They support and stimulate liver function. They stimulate bile production and flow. They improve digestion. They are beneficial for decreasing gas and bloating. They stimulate the appetite. They help balance blood sugar by supporting insulin function and improving glucose metabolism. They reduce sugar cravings. They help release symptoms of heartburn because they stimulate the sphincters of the stomach to close. They can relieve nausea. Basically, everybody should be taking bitters anytime they eat, especially when they're eating fats and proteins in a meal, which is pretty much every meal unless you're just eating a handful of berries. So bitters are usually made from different blends of digestive herbs rather than a specific herbal remedy. As I said, a bitter tincture is mostly about the bitter taste. It is one of the 5 essential flavors, along with sweet, salty, astringent, and pungent. And bitters or bitter compounds are known for their ability to improve overall digestion and metabolic processes. And we have a ton of bitter herbs. We have what's known as eupeptic bitters, and those are really strong. They're like gentians, angelica, and artichoke leaf. And then we have our more mild and nourishing tonic bitters like dandelion and burdock and chamomile. Turmeric is a bitter, lavender is a bitter. A lot of our aromatic herbs that we cook with have bitter properties. Coffee has bitter compounds. And to incorporate bitters into your daily routine, at every meal, just pop them into your mouth before or after a meal to help you digest your food better. And you can also use them in a spray bottle format, or you can add them to a jar with sparkling water for a bitter mocktail. I am particularly proud of my bitters blend. I get a lot of really good feedback on them. It's the first herbal formula that I ever created, and it's a combination of gentian, burdock, dandelion, fennel, chamomile, and mint. So it's really well balanced. It's a crowd favorite. And if you want to digest your food better, I don't even care where you get your bitters. I would love it if you bought them from me because I love sharing my plant medicine with people, but there are a ton of different bitter remedies out there that you can get. Herb Farm has a great bitter remedy. Urban Moonshine has really great bitters. There's probably a local herbalist that has their own bitter blend for you. And if you want to digest your food better, if you have gallbladder issues, if you have metabolic syndrome, if you have diabetes, if you have gas and bloating, if you want to help manage your blood sugar better, if you have sugar cravings and you want to manage your sugar cravings, you should be taking bitters at every meal. Everyone should have a bitter tincture in their life. All of these herbs in this list you can easily purchase wherever you get these herbs, and they all are staples in my apothecary. Now that I'm thinking about it, they actually probably are the foundation of my herbal apothecary. Absolutely the most common herbal remedies that I give to people. And you can get a discount of $10 off the set using the code 5tinctures. And you can also make them yourself. And if you'd like a tutorial on how to make your own tinctures, just leave a comment, let me know so that I know that that's what you want to learn next. Remember, and also I love to hear from you. So if you use any of these remedies and it works out and it works well, please let me know. That is the point of doing this show, is to connect with you and to be in community, together and growing and being better and healing ourselves. So please let me know if you try any of these remedies. They're all super beginner friendly. They're really safe for most people. But of course, if you are going to bring any new remedy into your life, make sure you little citizen scientist do a little Google cursory search to see if there are any contraindications between any conditions you have or medications that you're taking and the herbs that you are going to use, to be sure that there are no risks or interactions. And then, of course, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming episodes. We have some really great stuff planned for you for the next few weeks to get started bringing plant medicine into your life to support your wellness and self-care and just help you feel better in your body. So until next time, woohoo, we did it. Stay cool, stay safe, take your herbs, stay well, and yeah, okay, I love you. Bye.